So Highland Wise Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
Happy Monday.
7 hours worth of music. It's a Monday.
It is a Monday. We have not had a playlist like this in forever.
Remember when we used to crush 10-hour playlists like it was nothing?
Dude, remember when we
bitched. We bitched.
Oh, absolutely.
But we did it.
Absolutely. Remember when in 2020 we only did this, I think, 2 times. It was 2020 and then we 86 this from our repertoire, where we at every 6 months recapped all the records that came out and just had the most gnarly playlists. And it was mainly records that we had all talked about, so we didn't have to deep dive everything, but we would throw in a couple of albums that we had missed or didn't cover, didn't want to cover, or whatever it may be. And those were legit 2-hour live streams. And I remember doing it like that because we
was rushing
as
well. That was when we didn't do reviews. We just kind of went, this album was good, cool. From what I remember.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what we said.
Still 2 hours.
Yeah, and it was still 2 hours long because there was 50 hours worth of music to talk about. So putting together this week's playlist, and we're going to dive into all this. We still got show reviews and things like that to cover, but this, for some reason, every heavy hitter decided to come out on August 8th, and it was all records that we had covered the rollouts for, and there is an album that we're covering next week because we simply didn't have enough time to get to it.
You didn't have time to get to it.
I didn't have time to get to it.
I listened to all of it.
I appreciate it.
I was the one who didn't want to cover the entire fucking rollout either.
I appreciate it.
I'll listen to it. And then I'm the one left holding the fucking shit.
You were so kind about it over text. I was giving Glory a bang by bang of what my work day was looking like, and I'm like, there's not a shot in hell I'm getting out of here and then getting this record done because the album was longer than I anticipated it being. So we're moving it to next week, but we still have 7 records to chat about this week. So really, what's an 8th one at that point?
Right, what's an 8th one? Right?
But
fuck it. You know what?
It's there was just so many heavy hitting records that came out this week, and we're going to dive into all of them.
All of them. All 7, not 8.
All of them. And then the 8th one next week.
The elusive 8, right?
The elusive 8th one, which is not, it's a heavy hitter, but not one that neither Gloria or I were particularly excited for. It's just funny to clown on it occasionally. Anyways, happy Monday. It's a Monday of all Mondays, as you can tell by the intro. We listen to a lot of music. Glory all day today, me over the course of the weekend.
It's crazy you had all week, because I can't do that. I could listen to stuff, and if it really sticks, I'll remember it if it's something I've been anticipating. But if it's stuff that I'm good with, I have to listen to it all in one. All of the playlists I listen to in one sitting. Today hurt.
I've had to adapt to being able to kind of retain things for slightly longer amounts of time because my current schedule does not allow me the time to listen to really any length of playlist all in one day. The super short ones I'm able to get done 3 or less hours. I'm able to get done in a day. But when I'm staring at a 6.5 hour long playlist, I had plenty of long drives ahead of me this weekend where I was like, I'm just gonna do these in increments. But before we get into the records, I went to a bunch of shows this past week, hence all the long drives and allowing me the time to listen to these records while driving to the same stadium multiple times in the same weekend. That will make you go crazy. On Wednesday, I saw Knight Rider and A Sense of Purpose. It was great to finally see Knight Rider. We've had them on the podcast a couple of times, and I know they don't tour a ton. They typically do a handful of dates every year or so. I never thought that I would see them come to New Jersey. So when they were here in New Jersey on last Wednesday, I was like, I'm gonna have to go. And it was a great time. A Sense of Purpose, I was not familiar with going into the show. They're the band touring with Knight Rider. The run has since ended, but they were the band touring with Knight Rider, and they fucking ripped, dude. Honestly, it was pretty dope. They ended their set with the loudest bass drops I've ever fucking heard. Like, you felt that shit in your soul. Like, you could see the subwoofer fucking moving. Like, dude,
I
it
love
was
that. Yeah,
so sick. I was like, that is so 2010. I love it. I love that shit. So that was great. That really left an impression on me because I felt that shit in my soul, man. I turned to my girlfriend. I was like, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Happy it impacted you like that.
Yeah. And then Knight Rider was great. I believe they played a majority of their new record, as well as the 2 new songs. I got to chat with Patrick at the end of the show. He gave me a set list, so I literally have it in front of me. I could tell you if they played the entire record or not. It's up in my bedroom, but I do physically have the paper set list that tells me exactly what they played.
You like never get that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, because I'm not standing front and center or anything like that. Patrick was breaking down his drum set, and I just kind of called over to him, and he was like, "Oh, like, do you collect like memorabilia for the podcast?" And I was like, "I guess I do now." And he gave me the set list. We took a picture together. It was great to finally.
The picture was so cutie pie. I saw that and I went, "Oh my god, like, he's like a little boy."
He goes, "I'm gonna sit on the stage like a little baby."
Are you
like
kidding me?
Boy. Yeah, he was
dude,
like, I'm gonna sit here like a little kid.
That beautifully.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh my god." So
he was already, obviously, like I said, he was breaking down his drum kit, so he was already up on the stage. So when I asked him to take a picture, he was like, "I'm just staying up here if that's cool with you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's."
You should have said no.
Totally
Get
fine
down
by
here.
Me. But we've done countless interviews with Patrick about various different projects, so it was great to finally meet him in person and chat for a couple of minutes. And again, Knight Rider was great. If they do so happen to tour somewhere near you, highly recommend. 80s infused metal synthwave shit is fucking so dope. And they opened with their newest song, Cold Comfort, which is my favorite track of theirs. Dude, rocks. Friday night, I went to the Adobe Radio Summer School Tour the sophomore year. There were 7 acts on the bill. There were 7. Huddy, formerly known as Lil Huddy. If not for me, Arrows in Action, Beauty School Dropouts, Charlotte Sands, Taylor Acorn, and Rain City Drive. What a show. I went last year to the freshman year, quote unquote, the first year. This year was the second year. I feel like the lineup was a little bit more of like essentially like the same kind of fan base crossover. The previous year, it felt like a lot of people started in the room and then it kind of dissipated as the night went on, because the bands all kind of fit. They all fit on the bill together, but we're all kind of pulling from different fan bases. Like you had Stan Atlantic, Scene Queen, the home team, and Magnolia Park headlining. And I just kind of feel like those all kind of there's some overlap, but they all kind of pull. They're all slightly different genre wise, whereas a lot of these bands on the bill are all kind of in the same vein, so the fan crossover is a lot more. So it felt like the crowd stayed for a lot longer of the show, like a majority of the crowd. Rain City Drive closed off New Jersey, and I would say they were more one of the only bands on the bill outside of If Not For Me that was kind of out of left field sonically. So there was some crowd dissipation in between Charlotte's set and Rain City Drive, but not as much as I was expecting, honestly. Like because listen, Rain City Drive rocks. We've had them on the podcast a few times, and they fucking rip. We always appreciate chatting about them and chatting with them as well. So I was very excited to see them. But I thought that was cool. That was like the one thing that I noticed about the lineup. Going in and then actually seeing it in person. And I was glad to finally see Beauty School Dropout. We had them on the podcast, but it was my first time seeing them, so that was great. Seeing Huddy honestly was a trip. He was like the special guest. He was opening every show, and the dude's got stage presence. Are the songs good? Debatable, but the dude's got stage presence. He has more stage presence than some other artists that I've seen, even some other artists on the bill. Like the dude just goes up there and he does not give a fuck, which I appreciate. It was better than I expected. Was the bar in hell? Absolutely. Better than I expected, though. That's for sure. But I made sure to get there to catch it because I wanted to see what was going to happen. I haven't followed much of Huddy's transition into like focusing on his music career. It was it was not as bad as I was expecting it to be. It could have been way worse, and that's where I'm going to leave it. It was not my least favorite set of the night. So
wow.
I'll give him that. And dude, there was because I'm not trying to outright come out and say that how I like to speak in metaphors and go around in circles and shit, and when you're just like, just say you fucking liked it.
It's just like, I mean, it could have been worse. He wasn't the worst of the night.
I thought it was dope. Okay, are the songs great? No, they're fun.
Just say you liked
they're
it,
fun
man.
to listen to. It's fun. The dude's got good stage presence. I'll give him that.
You liked Little Huddy live. Huddy live.
It was fine. It was okay. I still don't want to admit it. At what point do you stop
being Lil? You know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Is there like a
because I think there was even a transition during his music project where at some point he just dropped the little I don't know. I don't follow.
I like how you always say little. You don't say Lil because it's Lil Huddy.
Whatever, Little Huddy.
Because see, it's like when who did we talk about that was also like Lil? It was like we never covered like Lil Baby or anything, but it was like every time you would like mention them, you would be like Little Baby, and I'd be like, what? It's just funny. It's funny to me.
I'm glad I can make
Tiny
you crack
Huddy.
up. Tiny Huddy.
Tiny Huddy. Aww. Tiny Huddy.
That's great. But yeah, pleasantly surprised. If not for me, it was the band I was most anticipating on the lineup.
Yeah,
to have a metalcore band in a sea of pop punk bands was very interesting to me, and they played a slightly lighter set for them sonically, which was still heavier than everything else on the bill, but they didn't play songs like Tragedy, which they normally have in the set list, but that song is just like one continuous breakdown. It closes the album, but I was excited to see them. They were my favorite band on the bill for sure. It was great to see Charlotte Sands again. I haven't seen her since 2021 when we had her on the podcast, and then she hopped on Head Summerfest last minute, so it's been a minute. Just touring schedules not lining up, and dates and shit like that not lining up with my personal schedule being out to go to see her. She absolutely rocks it on stage. Like she was already really solid when I saw her, because in that interview we spoke about like her roots and how long she's been doing it and all of that. I remember talking about that, and she already, was obviously playing shows and things like that. It's not like she had this moment and all of a sudden started playing shows and fucking sucked. She was great when I saw her at Sad Summerfest, but she has been touring nonstop since then, and stage presence unbelievable. The songs are fantastic, and she was one of my favorite sets of the night as well. Absolutely blew it the fuck away. Taylor Acorn was great, although the set list was a little bit weird to me. Played the deluxe tracks off her deluxe record that we just had her on the podcast to chat about, and had like, there was no like concrete focus on a body of work. It was kind of like some songs off the EP that we also had her on the podcast to chat about, like a random single that came out in 2019, the deluxe like both deluxe tracks, new songs off of the record, and then like 2 or 3 new songs at most, and I kind of expected the set list. I was hoping the set list to be a little bit more focused on the new record, because I think the new record's phenomenal. And it just kind of felt like there are stronger songs off the actual record that could have been spotlighted versus the deluxe tracks, because those to me, they're great. We reviewed the fucking deluxe record. It was great.
That's the thing, yeah.
But I do think that the actual album had songs that could have been spotlit as well. Although she goes up there, she rocks it, she's got great stage presence. I still appreciated her set and loved it, but I would have liked to have heard a couple of more mainline songs off of the actual record. She played the new single as well, which was great to hear. That's one of my favorites from her. Airs in Action was great. They're promoting the second half of their upcoming record, so they just ripped all as many songs as they could off the new record. Beauty School Dropout was great. Again, they're promoting a new record. They ripped a bunch of songs off their upcoming album, a couple of tracks from some previous stuff as well. They were great. They like kind of sort of incited a riot during their last song, which was fucking wild. Like there's just people were coming up on stage. All the band members stopped playing their instruments and just started jumping around and shit, like wound up in the crowd. It was fucking wild shit. I was there with Abby, and she turned to me and she goes, Did did they just incite a riot? Like they might have.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but that was really interesting. And Rain City Drive was phenomenal as well. They closed off the night, played so many songs off their new record, as well as the new single that they just put out, which is the start of a new era. Overall, it was a great time. The tour is since concluded, but I'm hoping for a year 3 for sure. Saturday, I got to see the Hometown Boys, My Chemical Romance, rip the biggest possible stage that you can play in the beautiful state of New Jersey, alongside, and that's MetLife Stadium, alongside support from Death Cab for Cutie and Thursday. Thursday played first. They're also Hometown Boys. They're the My Chemical Romance and Thursday bond is a bond that most friend bands I think dream of. I love seeing Thursday basically every time I've seen My Chem. Thursday's there, and I absolutely love that. And getting to see Thursday play that stage, although the day wasn't about them, it's obviously for My Chem and their achievements. It's still an achievement for that band to also get to play that stage. And they didn't try to make the day about them, but it's absolutely, I think the day is partially for them as well. They've worked super hard as well, and it was super cool to see them play that stage. Although I'm not like a huge Thursday fan, I really respect them and what they've done for the scene. They absolutely ripped it. They sounded great. I wish they played Jet Black New Year, but that's just personal preference. They sounded great. It was super cool to see them. Death Cab for Cutie, I've heard that name a ton. I haven't seen them live until Saturday. They were phenomenal. It definitely doesn't fit sonically, but I know that's what the band is going for with the support on this tour. I mean, they got earlier in the tour, they had fucking the Violent Femmes. On Friday, I'm seeing Alice Cooper open for fucking My Chem. Like, the support is all over the map on this tour, which I appreciate. It creates some variety in the night.
It introduces younger fans to different genres. It's really cool. I love when artists do that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were super dope. They're just, you can tell they're very, very tight musicians, which I can appreciate. And then the Men of the Hour came out and ripped a 2-hour and some odd minute extravaganza. Whoa. Just like, because the set is so theatrical, I almost feel like they didn't get enough time to relish, like, at least outwardly, in what was going on, because quite literally me and 60 some odd thousand other people watch history happen on Saturday night. And I listen, I understand the whole, they're building this new lore around this record that's been out for 20 some odd years, going to be out 20 some odd years next year. And
that they're building new lore around it.
Yeah, they got the drog bullshit, and they had a whole language made up and shit like that. And like they're not doing the Black Parade. They've got this whole new thing going on. They're wearing the Black Parade outfits, but there's this whole new thing going on. There's live executions and things like that during the show. Like they're reinventing and adding on to adding on. Gerard ate a lot of fucking spaghetti on stage for some reason.
I saw clips of that, and that grossed me out. I'm not gonna lie, I hated it.
I don't understand what the fuck was going on there.
The mayor was there.
Well, the mayor was there because they got a key to Belleville,
key to the city,
which was super dope. And then that was like right before the Welcome to the Black Parade. They were going to start playing the song, and then Gerard was like, "Wait, shit! Like we're supposed to, something's supposed to happen." And then they went to go play the song again, and he was like, "Oh wait, we have to kill people first." And then that's when the execution happened.
God, so he was thrown off his game.
Yes, completely. He was completely thrown off his game.
Like, wait, people need to die. I forgot.
Shit. So that was that was like the moment during the main set that they kind of got to relish in it for a second, because it stopped the theatrics entirely. But the record itself is very conceptual, very theatric. So they're expanding on this universe, adding more, building this new plot line. If you ask me anything about it, I don't fucking know. All I know is that this ain't the Black Parade. This ain't the Black Parade I've known for the last 19 fucking years. And if it is,
it's just not one guy dying.
Yeah. They're killing people and shit. There's military involved. This fake military involved in this new story.
Didn't think they were bringing out
the drog universe or world or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. It's
fun. It sounds fun. Yeah, I should probably get into it. I love that type of shit.
It was a lot to take in. Hopefully, maybe I'll understand more seeing it a second time again on Friday. It was phenomenal, though. The coolest part was, famous last words. I kind of started to understand it a little bit more as the night was going on, kind of watching it happen in front of me. And the stage show got progressively crazier as the night went on, like more pyro and things like that. But famous last words, as you know, the music video, everything goes up in flames. They do that on stage.
How fun is that?
Which is fucking dope. Although I'm like, did they learn their lesson from the music video shoot where Bob suffered those severe burns because he was too close to the flames? And I'm hoping that they learn the lesson. As I'm watching the stage go up in metaphorical flames, of course, there's literal flames, but they're not literally burning the thing down. I'm like, I hope they learn their lesson from the music video shoot.
Everyone be careful.
But I did think that was super dope, because that is kind of like, that a callback to the music video. Everything goes up in flames. I was like watching that and it clicked, and I'm like, that is so dope. So that was really cool. And then they there's like a 15-minute intermission. They come out on the B stage as My Chemical Romance, not My Chemical Romance. They just come out as the dudes. And that's when they got to kind of relish in a little bit. Although I wish they were able to take more time on the big stage. But I understand theatrics and things like that. It doesn't call for it. Gerard's like doing an accent and things like that. Like, he is 100% in character.
He's such a theater kid.
He is. But the set list, on the B stage was incredible. They closed with Living on a Prayer by Billy Joel, which is like the most Jersey thing you can possibly do. My only thing is, I felt like the crowd kind of went silent when they didn't play, because they played like the hits out there as well. I'm Not Okay, Helena, and na 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 na.
Oh, I love that one.
Yes, but when they played songs like Boy Division, It's Not a Fashion Statement, It's a Fucking Death Wish, Skylines and Turnstiles, like even Nightmare or Vampires Will Never Hurt You, it kind of just felt like the crowd didn't know it. Like, the people around me in my section were kind of like,
well, I don't remember this on the Black Parade.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what it felt like. So that was just a little tidbit. It could have just been my section. If you were at that show or any of the previous shows and you're feeling a similar way, let us know in the comments, because I got to know if this is like a universal thing or just a me thing that I noticed.
I'm not gonna lie, that was me when they played Burn Bright at my show, because I was like, I don't know what the fucking song is. Because I don't know what they're saying to me right now.
I'm going even harder for these songs, because I love those records even more than the Black Parade. They were just cruising, and I was having the best time. But it was a great night. It was super cool to get them to see them play this massive stage. It was definitely a victory lap, a celebration of everything that the band has done, and I love that. The next night, the other hometown boys, the Jonas Brothers, played the same exact stage as My Chemical Romance at MetLife Stadium.
Who did it better?
My Chem. They also, played MetLife Stadium, the biggest possible stage that you can play in New Jersey, with support from the All American Rejects, and Marshmello was there as well.
That always tickles me.
The All American Rejects were great. I haven't had the opportunity to see them until then. They only got 30 minutes. I honestly thought they were going to get more just because of the stature of the act.
Marshmello needs plenty of time.
Just wait. But it was great. They played all the hits. They played a couple of songs off their new record, the singles that they put out thus far, and then the hits, which they got 4 or 5. So it was great. It was great to finally see them. I feel like it's a great pairing. Same with Jonas Brothers and Boys Like Girls, which is going to happen later on in the tour. I just feel like those pairings make a lot of sense, because it's all that like 2005 time period makes a shitload of sense. If you listen
to this, you probably listened or have heard of this. Yeah,
absolutely. And then the Jonas Brothers came out for Act 1, because of course they can't just have Marshmello open the show. They got to put him smack dab in the middle as an intermission of sorts, for 20 fucking minutes. Act 1 was incredible. They brought out Switchfoot and Jesse McCartney, which was wild. Holy fuck. The first act was great. They played a variety of different tunes. And they got an opportunity each individually pretty early on in the set to kind of relish in this thing that was happening, which is so great. I didn't think that they were going to sell it out, but they did it, which big kudos to them. But so they got to relish in it, which was great. They all stood at the end of their little catwalk, and it was cute. Nick spoke for way too long. Joe, you know how Joe is, and then Nick was
mic wasn't even
Kevin
on.
was just like, "It's been great, guys. I still live in New Jersey," and like the crowd went bonkers.
Oh my god, Kevin, you little Kevin, you. Oh my god.
But yeah, the set list was a nice variety. I always obviously wanted to be heavier on the older stuff because that's what I grew up listening to. But I felt like it was a nice variety, all things considered. They're trying to lean into the newer stuff. So Act 1. Then Marshmello came out. P-Break came back because I turned to my girlfriend when Marshmello came out and they did their song together. The first one they did together. I was like, let's go to the bathroom now because we're going to beat the line because we're at a Jonas Brothers concert, not a Korn concert, so there's going to be a line for the women's room, not for the men's room. So I'm like, let's go to the bathroom now. And as soon as I got out of the bathroom, there's a line like crazy. I'm like, I made the right call, being like, let's take a pee during Slow Motion by the Jonas Brothers and Marshmello. So we got to catch a majority of Marshmello's set, which was fun. I think so. Yeah. It was I love 2016. It was cool. Definitely weird, but I know they've been frequent collaborators. There's been a handful of Marshmello and Jonas Brothers songs. So it's not the craziest pull. Yes, does it make a lick of sense? Sonically, no. But like on paper, looking at it as like a collaborator standpoint, it makes sense. And then to kick off Act 2, they played their other song together, Leave Before You Love Me. And then for the second half, they brought out Dean Lewis, who's on the new record. Switchfoot and Dean Lewis are on the new record that we're going to be chatting about. And then they closed it off with the last guest being Demi Lovato. Let me tell you, I couldn't
get away from it, actually.
That place erupted. Because, they toured together. I saw them when they toured together. You're like, so many years ago. But they haven't had the best like relationship, and this has been publicly known for the better part of the past 10 plus years, falling out, personal fallouts and things like that. So to see them on a stage together is something that fans didn't think were going to happen again. Although the fans have, and I just gathered this from Reddit posts. I don't follow the Jonas Brothers like this, so my telling of this might be butchered. They've been like interacting on social media and shit like that. So people were like, "Oh my god, they're back in each other's good graces. What if she comes out on stage?" And then like someone saw her head of security walking around, and that basically confirmed it. And then
that's insane. Okay,
and then this is what I mean. And
you saw the head of security.
Yeah, it was me. It was me. I'm the one that made the report.
And you're the one who made the Reddit post too.
Yes, and the place absolutely erupted. Again, another nice balance of songs, and then they closed off the night by having they played the song off of their debut record, When You Look Me in the Eyes, with their entire family, because that song was written with their father, who's also a musician, and they brought out the mother as well. She did sign language, and Frankie Jonas. Frankie Jonas was also hosting. They were streaming the show on Samsung TV Plus, which I had never heard of until the Jonas Brothers did a partnership with them. They were streaming the show on Samsung TV Plus, and Frankie Jonas was hosting it.
So, I was hoping. I was like...
Yeah, they brought out Franklin Jonas.
Franklin. Yeah. The boy. Yep. God, that makes me happy.
He literally, like, the show ended and he leapt in the air. Like, he jumped. Like, he was the one that had just performed for 2.5 hours. He's like, yay!
He's... You know what,
I love it. I really respect it. I really
that was his show. That was his show. Everyone came out hoping Frankie Jonas.
I was there for him.
Yeah,
honestly,
dude, I would have been there. Spiritually, I was there for him.
I was honestly there for him. I had a, but yeah, it was, again, like just like My Chemical Romance's band has been doing it 20 plus years. Well, they're actually out celebrating their 20th anniversary. They absolutely deserve this for them to be able to play the biggest stage in New Jersey. They've been doing this a long time, and well deserved. It was super cool to kind of see two hometown acts, obviously on two opposite sides of the spectrum. The fan crossover is not there at all.
No, I'm pretty sure
There were definitely people there that were at both, but and I was one of them. But to see these two hometown juggernauts both play the biggest stages in their hometown for the first time each, and each sell them out, was a very cool experience that I don't get to experience every weekend. So that was very exciting, and very cool, and just very awesome all around. Coming up for me, I just got My Chem again on Friday in Philly in a baseball stadium, but that is all I got in the immediate. Let's jump right in.
I have Wage War next week. That's
she's
all
got Wage War, and let's fucking go. Wage War's gonna rock. They're so awesome.
Excited. And Nails in the casket.
I was just gonna say Nail 5.
Let them rot with the maggots.
Dude, so good, so good. I haven't seen them since the album tour, but they're so fucking good.
As long as that song fucks.
It fucks.
I'm happy.
All the songs off the new record. I know we just got a comment.
I know
that the album sucks, but all the songs off that record rip.
Did we listen to the same album? I don't know why people don't like it. It was like it fucked.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying in general. Like the general census on that record is just wrong. You and I heard a different record than the rest of the public.
We were given a different stream or something.
Because there's something in that record. Is it as strong as Manic? No, but it absolutely rips. It's just an extension of Manic, in my opinion, in terms of heaviness.
And maybe just try to have fun.
Yeah. Wage War's not the most complex band in the world. It just rips.
Take it as it is.
Yeah. Because we compared.
Sometimes songs just fuck.
Yeah, we got a comment because we compared. I compared the opening portion of Fit for a King's new record to the opening portion of Wage War's new record, and and we got a comment that said the record was fucking terrible.
It was like.
I'm just thank you for watching our review.
Jesus, thank you. Can you like the
can you also go watch our review of Stigma and tell us under
comment
there
that as well.
Tell us it sucks. Boost engagement.
Jesus.
We got so many albums to chat about.
We're 30 minutes in.
Yes, we're just gonna dive right into it. We're kicking it off. BABYMETAL dropped their new album, Metal Fourth. This record, man, has been a long time coming because it got delayed several times. It was supposed to come out at the beginning of the US tour, and then it was supposed to come out in the middle, and then they were like, fuck it, we're just gonna place it like a month and a half after that. Which is fine. Because it's finally here and it absolutely rips. BABYMETAL is a band that just continues to explode. Like every single time I hear their name mentioned, it's like, holy shit, they just got 11 times bigger than they were the last time someone mentioned them to me. So the rise for this band has been absolutely insane, and like this record, I know it's just going to propel this band to yet again another level. I didn't know that there could be a next level, but the next level of where they're already at. They just got off their most successful US tour to date, and this record is just going to keep doing it for them, just keep leveling them up. It's just, there's a lot of collaborations on this record, and BABYMETAL is a band that just consistently proves how great they are at working with other artists, because a large, I believe all the singles, honestly, were all songs that had features on them, and every single time you and I were like, holy fuck, this song absolutely blows us away. And then hearing those songs back to back to back to back on the album, dude, I mean, it kicks off with From Me to You, which features Poppy, goes into Ra-ta-ta-ta-ta, which features Electric Callboy, which is one of my favorite songs off the record, hands down.
Of ever, yeah. One of up there somewhere.
And then it has Song 3, which features Slaughter to Prevail, which we chatted about a bunch on here because we chatted about it as a single, and then it was on the Slaughter to Prevail record, and now we're chatting about it again. And then Con featuring Bloodywood, which is a fucking insane track.
What a good pull. That one made me so happy, because that Bloodywood record was fucking phenomenal. Oh my goodness.
But like this band, their ability to collaborate with a wide variety of artists, because like their, Polyphia is a just instrumental fucking progressive metal band,
so pretty,
and their collaboration rocks just as much as the Bloodywood, which is like Indian folk metal, which is just as dope, and the collaboration rocks just as hard. There's Poppy, there's Spirit Box, there's Tom Morello, who's from Rage Against the Machine. It like all of the features, they're all from like different points, all of obviously the same overarching genre of metal, but they're pulling from all these different influences, and then they're able to so seamlessly bake their style, which is like this chaotic feeling of metal, blend it so well with whatever artist they're working with, whether it be a Polyphia, which is like this very intricate, beautiful, progressive, melodic metalcore thing, or a band like Slaughter Prevail, which is just how fucking hard can we punch you in the face, and I hope it hurts when we punch you in the face. And the record at no point feels like any song is out of place, which I think is the most impressive part. There are obviously a couple of songs on here as well that are without features, and those songs rock just as hard. And again, they just kind of, that's what blows me away about this band, is just their ability to have their sound, bring other people in that have such a wildly different sound from them, and every single song makes sense in succession. Because it's one thing to do that as an artist putting out singles, because you're not placing them on top of each other, but then to be able to do that and place them on top of each other is a whole different level of skill, in my opinion. It already takes an immense amount of skill to be able to do that, and collaborate with other artists and not have things bash heads, if you're going to blend two sounds that really don't make a ton of sense on paper, but then to be able to stack it and it make cohesive sense, whole different skill set right there. I really enjoyed this record because it flows so seamlessly. The Spirit Box feature is one of my favorites because I absolutely love that band. I love From Me to You with Poppy. Ratatatata is just a song that has been on repeat for me for goddamn long time. And then Con featuring Bloodywood is another one that's up there for me as well. But I could sit here and name every single song because they're all phenomenal. This record seriously blew me the hell away.
This was the first record on the playlist, so this was basically how I started my day this morning, because as we mentioned before, it was a 7-hour playlist, so this was an all-day thing. This record, I'm just echoing what you just said, it completely blew me away. I mean, my expectations were already pretty high because I like baby metal. I don't listen to them frequently, but it's like I haven't seen them perform. I've seen videos of them perform. I was really introduced to them fully with what was it, Gimme Chocolate, but that was like the one-off song. And then Ratatatata came out, and I was like, this is what I wanted. And also I was really into Electric Callboy at the time. Still am, just they drop more music, guys. Finish the album, you know? And then got progressively into them with the singles that were dropping leading up to the record. They dropped a lot, so more than half the record we already knew and I already loved, which was good. So going into it, I just saw singles stacked on singles stacked on single, and I was like, fuck, this is a lot. But I completely agree with what you said. To be able to stack all of those singles and all of those features that come from just literally every corner of like the alternative space is absolutely incredible. Them being able to put Electric Callboy, Slaughter Prevail, and Bloodywood next to each other is fucking crazy. I did skip over Poppy because Poppy and Baby Metal just kind of make sense in my head. It's just like it's the same kind of like, Poppy's more industrial. At least I'm thinking back to, my record that I really enjoyed from her, which was it had Concrete on it.
I disagree.
Which one was that? I disagree. Fucked with that record. She did more pop, and then she did.
The most recent record is back to the roots that we like from her.
That we liked.
Yeah.
I'm just.
She does a new thing every time.
She does everything.
But I have a feeling she might stay in the metal lane a little bit. It seems to be working out this time around.
Makes sense. And it's also the community that fits most with her. I mean, she toured with Avenged Sevenfold, and then she did the song with Bad Omens, and then she did the song with Knocked Loose. So it's like, I feel like it's where she belongs.
Yeah.
Also, like her. And anyway, this isn't a Poppy review. Anyways, so my personal favorite is Sunset Kiss with Polyphia. I'm a really big fan of Polyphia. I think they're honestly like one of the best bands, and I don't talk about them often because they are just like an instrumental band. So it's not like it could be like, damn, their lyrics are so fucking deep, and they write, man.
I'm actually seeing them in a couple weeks open for Korn and System of a Down. Very excited.
Please let me know how that is.
I will.
Honestly, like I really want to see them live, and they're so good. I think their music they're like
I didn't
some
know
of
you
the
fucked
best
with them like
artists
that.
right now. I really do. My friend got me into them, and now it's just like every time I go and visit, we always just sit down and just watch like all of their shit. So it's just fuck, I love Polyphia. Um, my queen is also my favorite, one of my favorite tracks off of it was Spirit Box. I think Courtney's vocals are just so, as soon as it came on and as soon as I heard her voice, I was like, is this fucking Courtney? Is this and a lot of her clips and like one takes have been on my For You page. I say For You page. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. All right. I'm on Instagram. I saw this thing where it was like TikTok is like vape and Instagram is like cigarettes. I was like, yeah, all right. Yeah. But I really liked that song a lot. And I'm starting my respect and my interest in Spirit Box is growing more and more because I'm seeing them a lot more in my day-to-day instead of just kind of like one-off whenever they drop something. They did just drop a record. I'm hoping I get that second wind and I really get into them because holy shit, this song fucked. Rat-ta-ta-ta-ta was one of my favorite. Rat-ta-ta-ta. We always add like 5 extras. It's like nah.
Well, I do it because there's the ones in parentheses.
In the parentheses, but there's no parentheses here. It's just fucking
I just can't stop myself.
Because it rolls off the tongue too easy. That was one of my top tracks of all time last year when we did our year in review. I don't have to say anything else about that. I'm pretty sure I talked about it for like 5 minutes. And it's like such a fun, dumb song.
Such a fun listen.
There's no lyrical, like, there's nothing powerful in it. It's just fun as fuck. Yeah. You know?
And
so I'm not going to...
Those two bands probably make, like, besides Poppy, make the most sense together.
Absolutely. It is, because it's like they're counterparts of each other. It just makes sense, and I love them so much. So I thoroughly enjoyed this record. Honestly, this was my favorite record that dropped this week. It completely blew me away. This was added to my top list. I don't know where yet, but just kind of as a marker of a review this, listen to this again before, the year's over.
Yeah.
Attack Attack dropped their new album, Attack Attack 2.
Yeah.
In Roman numerals. Aye.
First record in over a decade, first full length. They've been back for a few years. They've dropped a couple of EPs, but this is the first full length. They're doing another self-titled. They put out a self-titled back in 2010, which is my favorite Attack Attack record. They're doing it again. Glory, take it away.
Okay, so I didn't have any expectations for this record. I mean, it's a name that kind of like I moved through the scene knowing. The Crabcore. Couldn't get away from it, even though I wasn't really in that circle of like metalcore. They've always kind of intrigued me because they're just such a weird band, especially when we first started the podcast. That's when they came back. So it's like they knew. They were like, okay, they're doing shit. Let's give them something to talk about. So honestly, my first real introduction to them was Kawaii Cowboys. So I always talk about it. When I have to mention it because it's like that was like how I met you, So it's just weird. I think this record's good. I think it's definitely one of the better releases just in general in recent time. I think they covered a lot of bases. I mean, they switch up the genre a little bit towards the end. They get a little bit weird with some of the tracks. I think it's fun. I think that the record is cool. There are a couple like rap moments that are really corny, but I'm trying to give grace, I'm trying to give grace because I think if I'm trying to rate everyone on the scale of Motionless in White, if I can give Motionless in White grace for being a little cringe sometimes, I can give everyone a little bit of grace. So that is your one fucking ticket that I'm giving to you is sure, I'll let it pass. I think the singles are obviously some of my favorites off the record. More specifically, I Complain on r/metalcore. I think that song is fucking phenomenal. I really liked One Hit Wonder. I did like Big Booty Britches. And I also did like, it was towards the end. Oh, it was Jump Jump. I liked the record a lot. I enjoyed it. They moved around. It wasn't all heavy. It wasn't all light. They've had some rap in there. It was fun. It kept my attention the whole way through, which is really good. Especially with a 7-hour playlist,
Looming over your head. I'm a big Attack Attack fan. I really dig, like I said, the self-titled, the first one is my personal favorite Attack Attack record. I spent a lot of time with that album when I was kind of getting into this band. That's the record that I just naturally gravitated towards. Although I appreciate everything that they've done, that they did pre-hiatus, and I've liked everything they've done post-hiatus, but it's kind of felt like they've been playing it safe across the board with all of the EPs that they've kind of put out leading up to this record. Kind of staying in the same lane, although going outside and experimenting with each song slightly. But overall, it kind of, especially after hearing this record, all kind of fits in the same lane of, kind of just like traditional modern sounding metalcore, which I was fine with if that's what this band was going to evolve into in the current phase, with some slight variations on songs to keep things interesting and have some Attack-esque flair to it. I was totally cool with that. But this record scratch the itch of what I want from Attack. Attack is not a band that's supposed to be the traditional straight down the lane what is happening in the genre at the current time, which is kind of what I felt the band was morphing into with those EPs. Although, like I said, I love them. I love those EPs, especially Dark Waves. But this record is a modern spin on what the band was doing pre-hiatus, and I love that. It is so all over the place, but in the best way possible, because it's so all over the place, but it is so cohesive when they're doing it. It's wild that they're able to do all these different genres and all these crazy things and have a super heavy song and then a techno song and then a just straight up metalcore song and then a song with a bunch of rapping on it and then like slow down for a second and then pummel you again, and like it all just make sense at the end of the day. Is a formula that not most bands cannot crack, which I really appreciate. And I said that at some point during the single rollout, because I was kind of like, hearing the singles, I was already kind of seeing the vision for the record and where things were going to go. So I called it pretty early, saying a similar thing to like what I just said of, this is going to be a modern take on what Attack was doing, what Attack has done previously in their career, kind of just doing whatever the fuck, throwing it at all a wall, and it all somehow sticking and making a shitload of sense. That's what this record is, and that's why I really, really love this record. I have to spend more time with it, because this is definitely, I have a feeling this is going to be up there for me if I spend more time with it. But Glory's been saying, there was so much music to consume this week. It was just like, get an opinion on it and move on, dude, because you got more albums to chat about. I love the way it opens with One Hit Wonder. Dance with Will Ramos has seriously grown on me, because it's one of those really, it's like the classic Attack song that's super weird, super off-putting. Why does it sound like that with a feature like that? But it makes so much sense. It's so fun to listen to. That's basically what this record is. Chainless, Carmageddon, Live, Love, and Die, I Can Play on r/metalcore, all absolutely phenomenal songs. I could sit here and name a majority of the record as favorites. I just think it's incredibly solid, and it kind of feels like we fully have Attack back. They were testing the waters, doing like what you should do with EPs, kind of trying out different things, seeing what would work with this current reformed version of the band, and then they were able to kind of go all the way with it with this the second self-titled record, and I think that's really, really dope. I'm really digging this record. When this review comes out, they'll have already kicked off a headlining tour in support of this record. So peep the dates. They're touring all over the U.S. So check, see if it's coming near you. They crush live. So highly recommend. Thousand Below dropped their new record, Buried in Jade. I know Glory's a massive Thousand Below fan, so I'm just gonna throw the ball over to her because I don't know how to kick this one off. I'm sure Glory liked the record.
I did enjoy the record. I'm going to start with that. So again, I'm going to give it the benefit of a doubt because that was the third record in. I'm not even halfway through of the playlist, so I'm just like, fuck. I was really anticipating this record. My expectations were higher than most for records, because the last record that they put out, Hell Finds You Everywhere, was absolutely phenomenal. I told James to his face, I said, this is flawless. There's literally nothing wrong with it. I have absolutely no notes. You guys fucking crushed with this record. So I've spent a lot of time with that album. So finally experiencing like a full rollout, and as a fan, I'm hype as fuck. The singles were really good. I enjoyed them. The last single was a bit weird.
Save Me.
Save Me. It was a bit strange as a single. It was kind of like when fucking I was at 21 Pilots, Water Parks, when they dropped it was the one, fuck. Oh my God. It was the one where the
Snow
teaser
Globe.
was him. Nope. It was
Just
a slow
Kidding.
song. Just Kidding. It was like when they dropped Just Kidding
That
as a
song's so
single, where it was
weird.
just kind of I don't like that song at
I
all.
love it though.
It's so see cringe. Again, that's their cringe card for the album. It's like I can't. So um it was just kind of like one of those where it was like this is a okay, it's fine. I get it. You're showing the different sides of the record, kind of, a taster of what to expect. But I do feel like the record did lean heavier on the lighter side of things,
Mhm.
which is a little disappointing for me because the reason why Hell Finds You Everywhere was so big and impactful for me was because it was heavy and it was that perfect balance, in my opinion, the perfect balance of heavier music with kind of like lighter things. I believe James said in the interview that it was his first time screaming on a record, and that's what he was nervous about. And it just feels like he kind of like backed up a bit, which sucks. He did scream on it a couple times, which was incredible, and the heavier tracks stood out, and I thought they were wonderful. But to me, I needed more. I don't know. It just felt like a very like it felt like they were going on the other side of the spectrum with the last record. They weren't leaning too far into the heavier side. They were kind of just they took it down a couple notches, which is like I'm fine with it, but again, I can't expect every band to stay the same because if they're staying the same, then I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you guys are just doing the same fucking. So there's really like no winning, to be fair. Um, I enjoyed the record. I 100% think I need more time with it because I thoroughly believe that this band is like one of it. They have potential to be like one of the biggest bands out there, like a huge name because I think the vocals, I think the instrumentals, I think just their songs overall are fucking incredible. So I'm not writing this off as it's just okay. I'm 100% sure it's great. It's just my first impression of it felt I was a little disappointed.
Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah, I didn't really have much of an expectation going into this record. Glory's the big Thousand Below fan of the two of us. I liked the last record, although I didn't spend the time with it like Glory did. And I've been checking out the singles, but really nothing more than in my head. Album comes out August 8th. That's about all I was thinking going in. Went in pretty open-minded, and what I honestly gathered was it kind of felt like they did a very nice job of balancing all of the different sonics that kind of happen on this record, because I feel like there are these super heavy, brutal moments. Palace of Dread, shout out that song. It's my favorite song off the record. There are these more like middle of the road songs, we'll call them, that aren't too heavy. They don't go super into a heavy box, but they're not super like slow or out there in any sense of the word. And then there's the slower songs, the more out there songs, which are songs like Save Me and Michelle's song, that kind of fit in that box. And it just feels like it's a very nice balance. I hear what you're saying about the previous record being a little bit more heavy and straight, just balls to the wall kind of across the board. And yes, as the resident one that just wants everything to be as heavy as possibly can, that's my complaint with this record as well. There's not enough heavy moments. And I would have
so good at being heavy. They're so good at it.
And I would have liked to have seen more. But what you get from this record in terms of the heavy is certainly more than, I'll take it. But I just think that they do a very nice job of kind of balancing all the different things. The record is very long, both in time and in track listing. So there's a lot of room for them to do a lot of different things on this record, which I appreciate. They didn't shoehorn themselves into any one box. They experimented. They did a lot of different things. And I appreciate that about this record. And I think it's all executed well. I just think it's kind of, honestly, for both of us, kind of like, all right, well, this isn't exactly what I wanted, but listening to the record outside of removing the bias, the album is really fucking good.
It's incredible.
It's an incredibly solid record. It's just like, all right, now I have to listen to it. Now that I've said what I have to say, now I have to go listen to it, having removed those thoughts, saying those thoughts, putting them out in the world, and removing them from my brain, and now I'll go listen to the record again. And like, I was able to still come away with it. Like I said, the album itself, removing my bias, is a really strong record. It is really solid. I love the way it opens with Kerosene. Like I said, Palace of Dread is my favorite song on the record because that is what I'm looking for. Their Save Me, which is a track that Gloria and I, when it was a single, was both like, all right, what the fuck is this? Because the singles all kind of leaned on the heavier side, which again, hence the disappointment. There was a little bit of like, all right, we're going this way, and then the record goes a different way. That's fine. I'm not a huge fan of when bands do that, but I understand. So that's definitely part of where the expectation of the record being heavier comes from, but also just previous albums as well. But Save Me as a single was definitely out of left field, but in again, in the context of the record, not to use that phrase, it's
first one.
It's first one though, and we got a lot of records to chat about.
Don't remind me.
It makes a lot more sense in the record, and I think the dichotomy of the two songs, Palace of Dread and Save Me, being stacked on top of each other, makes that song almost make more sense, especially so high in the track listing, because it's like, all right, now we just pummeled you, now we're gonna do whatever the fuck Save Me does, and then pick it right back up with Shake, which I appreciate. I do like the title track as well, Buried in Jade. I think it closes out the record very nice. Los Angeles is a beautiful track. Feel It End, The Quiet and Cold. I do really think the beginning of the record is super strong, and then the closer is very strong. But like I said, this album is really good. Remove the fact that we were expecting something heavier based on the singles' previous albums and just personal bias as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
1000 Below is going out on tour. Check the tour dates. Go see them. I will be seeing them.
They're headlining. Peep the dates for sure.
Jonas Brothers dropped their new album, Greetings from Your Hometown. I'm going to say my 2 cents, and then I'm going to let the resident Joe Bro fan take over. I'm going to be so real. I only remember the first song. It left like such a, God, this is so 2015 impression on me, where it's like, I would hear this every time I go into like a Walmart, or it's like if I'm like walking through a Starbucks or something. I never like drank Starbucks, but if like my friend was like, oh, let's go get Starbucks, I'm like, oh, I'll get a water. But it's like I would just hear it, out in like department stores, at the pool, at the beach. Someone's playing it. It's always like off in the distance that I faintly hear it. That sense of familiarity, and that's the point I was bringing up with Joe Jonas's fucking album. You guys need to do more. Do better. You guys are fucking juggernauts in the pop scene. Fucking act like it. Do something new. Do something crazy. This shit could have gone on their last record. Fucking Sunshine Whatever the fuck that record was.
The album.
That record.
It was called The Album.
The one before that.
Oh, Happiness Begins?
The one with What a Man Gotta Do could have gone on the same fucking thing. It just feels like they're just cranking them out because they can. It's like, and it's all good enough, It's not like, oh, God, this is a shitty pop song. In the scope of, like, stereotypical pop music, this is good. It's decent, I need more from them. I think they could do so much better, and I would love to see them do some fucking weird shit. Weird in the scope of pop, you know? Do something funky. Come on. You have the budget for it. Come on.
That is my gripe with everything post hiatus with Jonas Brothers. We're now 3 records in and several standalone singles in, since they came back.
Solo records.
Yes, and all and everything in between. And it just, the statement of it's just good enough is just something that rings true. And maybe for me it's partly this nostalgia that I have for these first couple of records. I have a deep love and admiration for especially the self-titled and a little bit longer and a little bit less Lines, Vines and Trying Times. That record's a little bit out of left field, and honestly them trying something new, which is not something that this band does very often. But That might be part of it for me. Growing up, I listened to those albums. I mean, that's why the tour, which was the one where they did five albums in one night, nothing's really gonna beat that for me. Getting to hear even just snippets of those songs that I listened to countless times growing up. You know, like I was saying last night at the show, I was like, I want to hear Shelf, Pushing Me Away, Video Girl, or One Man Show in full. Knowing that that's not going to happen. Those aren't the hits off a little bit longer, but those are my favorite songs off the album. Exactly. Believe me, I love Burning Up.
You're tuned in.
Yeah, I love Burning Up. I love Love Bug. But those are the songs I want to hear more than just a snippet of. They obviously didn't fucking play them, but you know, that's definitely part of it. But there is just this overall like, it could be so much better. It was so much better at one point. I do think that, nostalgia aside, those records stand up so much better than the new stuff. And it's just kind of like coming back to put out music just to have an excuse to then go out on the road.
To go on tour. It's just a touring record. Yeah, it's not like an actual passion record.
Yeah, and there was some fucking interview that they did, because they've done 7 bajillion interviews, and I've been looking in the subreddit.
Where's ours?
Where's ours? Guys, come on the podcast.
I know I just shit on your record.
We're not talking very highly about it, but let's chat anyway. Would be ultimate bucket list for me. I would shit my pants. But something about how like they're a performance band, not a studio band, which I feel is kind of copium for you know, we don't write great songs anymore.
Shit sandwiches,
like we don't need to chart because we're just gonna go tour and we can do the tickets, which is fine. Like, to be at a point in your career where you don't have to chart to do the tickets is great, but at the same time they had to downgrade a bunch of their stadium shows to amphitheaters because they weren't doing the stadium number tickets on the tour.
Nostalgia didn't win this time.
Well, it wasn't a nostalgia baiting tour. This is just this is just a 20-year anniversary tour, which I think they should have saved the album plays for this run, but
they got too excited.
I digress. All of that aside, I think this is the strongest post-hiatus record that we've gotten. I really have not enjoyed or appreciated much of what has come out of their post-hiatus record songwriting abilities. There are some songs off of Happiness Begins that have grown on me, especially getting to hear them live. I do think that the songs overall, across the board, all 3 of these now post-hiatus records all kind of translate better live. The energy and the people around you being into it, even if I'm not personally super into it, and the band, you know, doing their thing, it translates a little bit better live, because they are just kind of mindless listen, feel good type things, which is essentially what they're going for at this point, which is fine. There's a market for that, obviously. I think that this is the strongest. I think that it's not the entire record, but I think that there are portions of this album that are reminiscent of their previous works, mainly, honestly, a little bit longer, because that's like the most pop leaning of their early work. You had like a couple of pop punk rock records, the pop punk, and then like this weird pop country thing that they did with Lines, Vines, and Trying Times. So there are some sensibilities of older works, as well as of Happiness Begins, which is not nearly as bad as the album was. That record is just shit sandwich on top of shit sandwich, just shit all piled in a sandwich. So there are moments on this record that I like. It took a second listen for me to kind of, all right, I listened to it once, not much resonated with me. Let me go, and that's what my first listen was. Like, I did not come away with much of anything. I
remember the first song.
I did not come away with much of anything. So let me go jam this again. This was a record that I luckily had a chance to get a second listen to, and I like I Can't Lose. I think it's a very strong opener. I think it's one of the strongest songs the band has had in a minute. You know, they've got the massive songs Cool and Sucker and things like that off of the first post-hiatus record, Happiness Begins.
Sucker.
But
that's good.
But I think this is one of the strongest songs that we've seen from them since then. And I honestly, the singles that really didn't resonate with me as singles kind of fit a lot better in the album. Love Me to Heaven and No Time to Talk. Those tracks make a lot more sense on the album. I like the title track, Greetings from Your Hometown. I think that is another very catchy track, kind of reminiscent of, different sonically, but written in a similar way that I Can't Lose is written, where it's just saying the song title over and over at you, and it's catchy as shit. I can't even lie to you. It's catchy.
Formula.
I do think the first half of this record is somewhat solid, but it is a case of just kind of, there's a lot here and not a lot that I ultimately come away with. I wanted to enjoy it more than I did, but I do think that this is one of the stronger things that we've gotten post hiatus for sure. But it's still like, we're fucking tier listing albums that are all timers to, you know, stuff down here that's like CD tier when you've got like 3 S tier records in a row. You know, it's definitely a huge quality drop. I'm looking here, the last thing I listened to on my desktop Spotify was a track off a little bit longer. Shout out that record. If you can't tell, I really like that one. But I do think that there are some redeeming songs on this album. It's just, the previous records have felt a little like cringy, almost like annoying at points. And I don't really get that from this album, which is why I'm saying it's my favorite, because it's like the least offensive to my ears sonically. Like, there are moments on Happiness Begins in the album where I'm just like, I have to turn this off. It's annoying. Like Waffle House, fuck that song. If you like that, I'm sorry. Fuck that song. There are just songs off those records where I'm like, this is cringe. This is annoying. This album, I didn't get that. There's just moments of this record where, like, if you put a gun to my head and asked me what Bully sounded like, I'd be like, yeah, I have no idea. You know, and that's just,
I didn't even know there was a song called Bully on the album.
You know, that's just it. But I do think the first half of the album is somewhat solid. I know they don't count It's About Time as an album, but technically they do have 7 records out. And in year 3000, they talk about how their 7th album will outsell Kelly Clarkson. This shit is most certainly not going to outsell Kelly Clarkson, so they are not living up to the prophecy that they foretold in the song Year 3000. But that song still bumps.
Album was the fuck. See, I thought that's why they named it the album, because I was like, oh, this is the one that's gonna they wasted that title.
Yeah, they wasted everything on that entire rollout. You know, they should have just waited a couple more years.
Yeah, wow. All right, but disappointment central.
They're gonna be touring, you know, crazy, supporting, you know, 20 years of the Jonas Brothers, which, again, like I said at the beginning of this, if you're watching just a clip review, there was a tour review. I went to the tour on Sunday night. That, you know, this is a victory lap for them celebrating 20 years. I appreciate their legacy. I support the legacy. I'm a huge Jonas Brothers fan. I grew up listening to them. So definitely go out and support the tour and go see it. It's a fantastic show. If it's coming near you, victory lap. If you're a Jonas Brothers fan, at any point, getting to see them, you know, celebrate 20 years is not something that you get to see every day. So highly recommend.
It's not like you could be 20 years. You can celebrate the 20 years every year.
You can't do that. So
can't do it.
Highly recommend. Good Charlotte dropped their new album, Motel du Cap.
I'm gonna start this off.
That's how I feel about this record.
No.
I was like, fine, I'll just take it. You made the fucking noise. I'll just take it from there.
Okay, I think this record is okay. Okay, I give it 5 out of 10. Okay, I'm not mad at it. I'm not, you know, glazing it. You know, maybe it's nostalgia. Even though, like, I was never a good Charlotte fan, I've known of their name, never listened to them. Never. You know, they probably have one song I know. They're one of those names, so it's like they probably
like Songs of the Rich and Famous, The Anthem, multiple songs. Multiple songs off that record. If you saw that album art from 2002, you would
the one
know.
with the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that one. So that I was like, oh, it's the Anthem band. Okay, cool. So I'm listening to them, and you know they have the sound. They're still doing it. Cool. Nostalgia. Okay. There are some songs on here that are just ass. that are just like hot ass, and it's just because I was listening to them and I was getting in a groove with it because I was like, okay, you know what, it's high, it's you know, faster paced than the Thousand Below record. It's definitely a step up than fucking whatever the hell I just finished up with Jonas Brothers. So I was like, you know what, I'm back in the alternative world. This is great. Welcome back. But then I started listening to the lyrics. And the lyrics, see, you had a different issue because we obviously spoke about this when you said,
well, Glory sent in the Discord that she was listening to the record and wrote some sentence about it. And I just typed back, "Record sucks."
And I went, yeah, all right. Then you mentioned like lyrically, it was just very weak.
Yeah.
And I agreed, but then you went into why you thought it was weak. And I had heard said lyrics that you quoted, and I went, you know what? That's fair. But I was thinking just like, I hate when rhymes are easy and it's just like first, like fucking like phone recommended, you know? It's my best example is Obey by Bring Me the Horizon featuring Youngblood, where the fucking chorus is Obey. We hope you have a lovely day.
Oh, but it's so fire.
Oh no, the song fucks. It's just, it's such like, it was right there. It's low-hanging fruit, you know? And I understand, like, not every, you know, song, not every lyric has to be, like, intricate and, like, vague and, you know, cloaked with you know, fucking, it's poetry. But it's, like, when it's a whole song, you know, because the rest of Obey is fucking phenomenal, right? That song fucks. That's why I forgive it. But there were, like, 4 songs off this record where it was just, like, not cherry picking. It was, like, low-hanging fruit. It just felt like the laziest fucking writing known to man. That was my writing was ass. That was my definition of that until you went into yours, which I'm sure you'll get into.
Appreciate you not stealing it because I laid it right out for you.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to say the songs I liked. I liked Life is Great featuring Wiz Khalifa because I was listening to it and I was like, is this fucking Wiz Khalifa? And it was. And I was like, this is the most, like, nostalgic thing you could have done. And the song was perfect. It felt like something out of the early 2010s. It was great and I loved it. I didn't like Pink Guitar. I don't have any feelings about Zeph, you know? It's kind of
It's
like
usually okay.
It's usually exactly. That's why I'm neutral because it's like it's usually good.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, Petty Hendrix, I thought Vertical was good. I did like GC Forever only because those songs that kind of have like, and I've brought this up. If it didn't have this, I probably would have fucking hated it. But I love those songs that have like little like nostalgic, like little speaking moments in it. Like Home by Modern Baseball has that, where it's just like you could hear like talking in the background while the song's like slowly fading out. That shit just hits a nerve in like my heart and my brain, like Voldemort by fucking With Confidence. It's like it has that little part at the end and it just makes me feel like warm and it feels so comforting and personal. And they have a little moment where it's just like, you know, we're doing okay. You know, we're doing all right for ourselves. We've been doing this, you know, since we were little babies or whatever. Obviously, they didn't fucking say that, but you know what I'm talking about. Just reflecting on the history of the band. And, you know, now that I'm doing the review, like, that would have been much nicer if the album was, like, a fucking banger. But it's, like, you know?
But
because
the record kind of sucks.
It kind of fucking sucked, guys. So maybe you aren't doing, like, so hot, you know? All that to say, I thought the record was just fine. You know, I mean, there were some good moments on it, but a lot of the writing lacked for me. I don't know. A lot of it felt very lazy. But what can I do, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I had high hopes for this record, not because I'm like some huge Good Charlotte fan. It's solely the nostalgia of those massive songs that everybody knows and loves. If you don't know the band or the song title, you hear the song, boom, you know it. You hear the chorus, you know that shit. And then it opening with the check-in like intro track, I was like, all right, dude, like they are setting the scene. And then they completely forget about the fact that they tried to set the scene at all for the rest of the record.
Like they were trying to be a concept record.
That's what I thought I was stepping into, at least somewhat loosely. Like there'd be an interlude somewhere reminding me that I'm at this
motel.
Like we're
in an elevator.
Yeah. Like it would have been so dope if they would have just dove into that a little bit more.
Like if it was like every song was like a different room or something. Like guys, oh my god,
it was right there.
Re-release it.
It was right there for them, and they just totally dropped the ball. That's problem number one.
Why?
it opens so strongly with Rejects and Stepper, which were the singles off of the record, and you know, had my qualms with those as singles as well. They stand a lot better on their own in the record, especially now hearing the rest of the record and hearing the sheer quality difference from Stepper to I Don't Work Here Anymore. Now, here's my problem and what Glory was alluding to. Stepper is this essentially flex song. That's all it is. It's just one 3-minute and 17-second flex. The next track is about how they don't want to punch a clock anymore. Listen, no offense. You know, I appreciate you trying to pander and create sorry, not pander, that's what it feels like. Trying to relate to the working class and create a song that people can relate to, you know, the average person that may be listening to your music. The large majority of the world. I appreciate that. But that track is such blatant pandering after you just flexed for 3 minutes about how fucking awesome you are. One of the lines in that song is that they piss excellence.
Now that shit fucked.
Now that's a fire as fuck bar.
Yeah.
I love it in that song.
I did like that song.
But to tell me you piss excellence, you've been a successful band for 20 some odd years. Mm-hmm. And then tell me you don't want to punch a clock anymore when you're still that band you're in is still successful as fuck. Mm-hmm. And you have a very successful management firm, Madden Brothers. I don't want to hear you talk about how you don't want to punch a clock anymore, okay? No offense.
Brother, you put the clock there.
Yeah, brother, you made the fucking clock.
Yeah.
So that's where my problem begins with this record, is that fucking song. Fuck that song. I Hate Life is Great solely because it's just another one of like a pandering feel-good song to me that just coming off the back of you piss excellence to I don't want to punch a clock anymore to life is awesome. Like, fuck you. It's just like, no, like, sure, that song on its own stands okay along the rest of the record, but in the context of the album, I just don't like that track run there, because again, like I keep saying, flex to don't want to punch a clock anymore, trying to relate to the working class to life is awesome, and no, like, listen, I appreciate the feel good as a standalone. That song would probably resonate a lot more than stacking it. I think track listing wise, that could have been shuffled around a little bit better and potentially made a bit more of an impact, because these songs could have been placed anywhere and the flow of the album wouldn't change much. They completely forgot about the concept they tried to begin at the beginning of the album. Mm-hmm. I like Vertigo, featuring Penny Hendrix. Shout out Penny Hendrix. We had him on the podcast. Mm-hmm. I think that's really the only solid non-single track. Most of this album to me is just falls flat lyrically, and I think instrumental wise they do a very good job of leaning on the nostalgia. This is a very nostalgic record sonically, but lyrically it's just so tough to get through. And listen, the 2000s pop punk bands were not known for their lyricism. They were not. Most of those like, you listen to those bands, the lyrics suck for the most part. But there's a difference between like endearing it sucks but it still works to like this is just, it just sucks. Like like there is no like this sucks but it's fire. It just sucks.
Like the Blink record.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It just sucks. The songwriting on this record, the lyrics in particular suck. Sonically, that's why I had such high hopes, because they're going to pull on the nostalgia. Band hasn't done a record in a handful of years. This is the perfect time to do it. You know, there's this big nostalgia train around this genre and the alt scene in general. It's a perfect time for this band to come back. They could have had gold with this record, and they just fell short. I'm really not a fan of this record. I wanted to like it a lot more. I went in very excited. You know, they got me amped with the intro track. The first two songs come out swinging really hard. There's a reason why those were the singles, and then they just had to put I Don't Work Here Anymore right there as track 4, and officially track 4, track 3 in terms of actual songs on the record, and it just ruins it from there. Like I said, Vertigo really being the only redeeming non-single, and there's bits and pieces of songs that are redeeming throughout the record, but there's really no full song that I find myself really enjoying. They got some festival appearances and things of that nature over the course of the year, so peep the dates to see if you're going to happen to be at the same festival as Good Charlotte. I would still definitely go see them. They're fucking ginormous, but I just hope and pray they don't play any of the non-singles off this record. Otherwise, you're better off burning your fucking ticket money.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Bad Sons dropped a new album, Accelerator. I thoroughly enjoyed this record. I mean, it is a classic pop rock record.
Mm-hmm.
Really nothing upset me about this record. The second half was my personal favorite. The entire record is essentially, it's just a love record, which is cool and it's cute and it's fun. I love that for you. But it's just with those types of records, it always hits a wall for me because it's like, I get it. You
What
hit
else
a
is
point.
there?
Exactly. It's like, fuck, who's that? Not the main. They do it in a different way. It's different when they do it. Fucking that, all of their records are just fucking John, like, I love my wife so much. I love my, it's the best fucking thing ever. No, there's another band that recently did it. Fucking Pollyanna toured with them. Plain White Tees. Their most recent record, literally every single song was a love song, and it hit a point for me in the record where I was like, is there anything else like going on that you want to talk about, or is this like it? So personally, it hit that wall for me about halfway through, but I mean sonically, lyrically, I still think it's cute, and still think it's fun. It's catchy. It's at some points, like a feel good record. There are a lot of songs where it's kind of like self-deprecating or kind of like I don't deserve you. So those obviously like aren't feel good. I'm not jamming that like hell yeah, but think it's cute. I don't have any quarrels or qualms with it. My personal favorite, I did like Postcard a lot. That was the standout track for me. That was the one that I really remember. So shout out. Thought the record was good.
Yeah. I was honestly very excited for this record. I thought that the singles were great. They came out the gate swinging with Communicating, which is my favorite song on the record, hands down. And I just think that Bad Sons does this like alt pop rock thing very, very, very well. And they just again prove that with this record. The way it opens with Slow Karma is fantastic. I think it really sets the tone, lets you know exactly what you're going to be getting into sonically and lyrically. And they just basically they do the thing for the entire record. Like what we're describing the album as is what you get. There's not much variation in terms of sonics. There's nothing crazy on one side or crazy on the other. There are some slower moments, but it makes sense for the genre. It's nothing too crazy to call out because it's it's an alt pop record, like a slower balladish type song just makes sense in the context of that album. You get that on this album. There are some slower moments here for sure, but for the most part it's like you could dance to it if you don't listen to the lyrics. You could cry to it if you listen to the lyrics. That's kind of like most all pop records. That's what you get, and I think Bad Sons does it exceptionally well. Like I said, Communicating is absolutely my favorite song on the record. There's just something about that song that just itched my brain from literally the first time I heard it. I'm like, this song has something different in it, and I love that. I love Madeline. I think that song is fantastic. Back to Zero as well. Postcard is a banger. What's Best for You is another one. I also thought Mystery Girl, Mystery Girl was pretty cool. There's just a lot of really, really cool songs. The choruses on this album are phenomenal. That's one thing Bad Sons always does very well is their lyrics, their lyricism, their songwriting. So it's very strong. Christo is fantastic. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this album. I thought they knocked it out of the park and honestly did exactly what I was expecting from a Bad Sons record. There was nothing out of left field here. And that's just honestly in the sea of the chaos. If you're just tuning in to this review, we chatted about 7 albums over the course of this podcast that this is picked from. And honestly, I just wanted something that I knew what was gonna be on the other end of that album.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like good old Bad Sons.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
comfort. Yeah.
Halestorm dropped their new record, Everest. We chatted with Halestorm. We had RJ on the podcast to chat about the record. It came out on album release day. It is out right now. Go watch it. It was a phenomenal conversation. Really very honored that we got the opportunity to chat with RJ about the record. We have been notoriously critical of Halestorm on the podcast. We chatted about the last record. We did not like it. The singles thus far, we have been lukewarm about, indifferent to say the least. And I think that this record is absolutely a step up from what we've heard from Halestorm in the past. I'm not just saying that because we interviewed them. Gloria and I, we heard the record and we got in that call ahead of that interview, looked at each other and said, dude, this record actually ripped, because there was not a ton of hope going into it, and I still don't think that the singles on this record are the standouts, honestly. There was not a lot of hope on either of our ends going into this record, in terms of hearing what they were doing on the singles, because the singles were like these very Darkness Always Wins, which is a beautiful song, is this like very big, like theatrical, ballad that builds into this massive thing. And same with Everest, which was another single, the title track, just another one of these massive songs that just builds, and that's great. And those songs absolutely rip, but as singles, they're kind of like, all right, like, come on, like, is this what this?
They need the build up of the rest of the record around it.
Absolutely, and those songs stand out on the album. I thoroughly enjoy the record, but there was not a lot of hope on either of our ends. But listening to this record and getting to hear it in full, this record is phenomenal. I liked it a lot more than I expected to like a new album from Halestorm, and I like the way that it flows with the track listing. Kind of feels like you're climbing a mountain of some sort, like going through the album and then descending towards the very end with I Gave You Everything and How Will You Remember Me. But my favorite like run of the record is Watch Out, Broken Doll, and Killing. I think those three songs are just absolutely incredible, and the standouts on the record, those should not be forgotten about when going through the album. The top half of the album is just this incredible build into this crescendo that kind of happens around the midpoint of the record, and that part of the album should not be discarded at all. Absolutely listen to this album front to back. I think it'll blow you away. There were actually certain points of this album that gave me chills, going back and listening to it again, because it's this big, it's a massive arena rock record. That's what this is.
Yeah, I was gonna say arena rock. That is exactly, yeah.
And they just went all the way for it this time, and and track listing in mind, and just absolutely ripped it. And this is a really solid record for what it is. I'm pleasantly surprised by this one for sure.
You and me both. I mean, you kind of took all my points, but I'm happy you finally put like a genre to it, because every time we talk about Halestorm, I always picture it in an arena, and that's just how I see their music, and that's how I hear their music. Is it's just like, it just sounds like it was recorded and made for arenas. So arena rock, exactly. Yes, that makes me so happy that there's finally a word for it. I really enjoyed this record. I mean, as you said before the interview, we always talk a couple minutes before the interview to just kind of be like, so what'd you think of the record? Or like, anything you really want to talk about or point out.
We catch up, just in general.
Shoot the shit, and we both, were kind of blown away from the record off the rip, because it was just like, oh, damn. That really shows that sometimes fucking singles, you really need the fucking context of the record to thoroughly enjoy something. And honestly, being familiar with the singles and kind of where they were did help kind of get in and ease myself into the record. I knew off the rip, my personal favorite, I told you this, I was like a Woman Can, fucks. That song is incredible. It is.
I think it's got massive potential too. I think
it does, and I want that shit to blow up, because I think that song is great. I also liked Killing. I really liked How Will You Remember Me. That shit is incredible as a closer. I did like Everest in the context of the record, but honestly, the songs on the singles that are on the record are standout, but they aren't my favorite. Respectfully. I really like Broken Doll a lot. Darkness Always Wins is still kind of one of those songs where it's like, it's not my favorite. But Rain Your Blood on Me has grown on me, like thoroughly. I think that song is actually really good. When it first came out, I don't think I was on the fence about it. To be completely honest, because I was like, I don't really know. I don't know. Context of the record, being able to sit with it while also digesting the rest of the record, I think it's fucking phenomenal. Big fan. Hell yeah.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
happy. I'm happy. This shit's growth, bro. Shit's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hell yeah. They're wrapping up a tour supporting Volbeat, and then they're going to be touring the UK and EU, and I'm sure they're going to be, coming back around the States to do a headline run off the back of this record or another support, whatever it may be. So definitely keep the dates, keep your eyes peeled. They're not just going to drop this record and dip. That's for sure.
No.
Let's just absolutely rip through these. Let's just rip through these.
Okay. Falling in Reverse and Hardy dropped the new single All My Women. Worst song on the playlist. I fucking hated it. Next track. Okay.
This is absolutely the worst song on the playlist. The worst song Falling in Reverse has ever
I didn't finish
had
it.
the displeasure of putting out, and
Yeah.
I am not a fan of what it's saying lyrically either. I think he's towing the line way too far. I'm just not a fan of this song at all, and it absolutely sucks. It feels like it's a joke, but I don't think it was.
No, it's fucking weird. Thank you for pointing out the lyrics too, because I was listening. I skipped it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Windwalkers dropped their new single Silk and Static, announced their upcoming EP coming out in October.
Mm-hmm. I think this fucked. I'm a big fan of Windwalkers. I think this song fucked. I'm anticipating everything, every move that they make. They fuck live. I got to see them with The Plot and You, and that kind of brought them back into my sphere, and my atmosphere is obviously what I was trying to say. I enjoyed this song a lot.
Yeah, this shit absolutely rips. I'm very excited for this upcoming EP. We've been riding with Windwalkers for a while, so I'm stoked.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Deftones dropped a new single, Milk of the Madonna.
It's Deftones.
Fine. Yeah, it's literally. It reminds me of the last track.
Yeah, like, you know what? Like, record comes out in a couple of weeks, and I'm not like this huge Deftones fan, so I'm just saving my opinions for when the album comes out, and hopefully it blows me the fuck away. It's
one of those bands where we need the full record to really get like an idea of it.
They're such a weird out of left field band, so like the singles do nothing for me.
Nothing. Yeah.
Gotta hear them. Yeah, gotta hear them in the record. Trivium dropped their new single "Bury Me with My Screams." They got an upcoming 3-song EP coming out in October. This is the first single off of it. It's absolutely fucking rips. It's been a minute since we got new Trivium, and they're just right back in the saddle. This is classic Trivium, and I love it.
I thought this was really good. I enjoyed it. I mean, they say the title a lot, but I mean, with the title that cool, I get it.
You got it.
It's fair. I get it. Not Enough Space dropped their new single, Don't Let Go. Not Enough Space has been absolutely crushing it recently. They're doing phenomenal, and I liked this track a lot.
Yeah, this track absolutely rips. I'm very excited for this upcoming album. There's been a lot of singles, so there's not going to be a lot of new stuff there. But I'm excited. I'm excited to hear all these tracks kind of track listed out the way that the band envisions, and to finally have a full body of music to hear from this band. Creeper dropped their new single, Blood Magic. It's a Ritual. Got a new record coming out on Halloween. Very fitting for Creeper. This song absolutely rips. This is just classic Creeper, very theatrical, even more so than normal. And I'm excited for a new Creeper record on Halloween. Like, it don't get much more fitting than that.
I was gonna say that's literally like Creeper's Day. I really enjoyed this track a lot. Theatrical, damn straight, and I need more theatrical bands in my life because they're just, I don't know, man, they do something for me. Hot Mulligan and Free Throw dropped their new single, Island in the Sun. Weezer?
That's exactly what I thought the first time I saw it. I'm like, this is just Weezer reference. This is such a great pairing. You know, these bands make a lot of sense together. They've both kind of had this explosion over the past couple of years as this kind of like Midwest emo resurgence, revival, explosion kind of thing, where like this genre has never really been this quite mainstream before, and these two bands are kind of at the helm of that. So these two on a song together just make a fuckload of sense. It was so good. It was really good. And I think it's really awesome. I'm very excited for this upcoming Hot Mulligan record that's going to be out in a couple of weeks. And we haven't gotten a ton of singles from it, so there's going to be a lot to bite off there.
Damn straight. Hell yeah.
Yeah. The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus dropped their new single X's for Eyes, announced their upcoming record coming out in October. And this is just classic red Jumpsuit Apparatus. I really like this song. I think I like it more than the previous single.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. I don't know. I'm already a fan of the band, so I'm very excited for what's up next.
We aren't face downers here, that's for sure.
I don't know what that was. I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that. Pinkshift dropped 2 new singles, Reflection, and the second one being Don't Fight. I fucking love Pinkshift, this new record that they've been releasing. All the singles have been incredible. This is like a new step for them. I'm very excited. Spoiler alert, we may or may not have spoken to Pinkshift.
Maybe.
I may or may not have heard the record.
These are all things that may or may not. These are all things that may or may not have happened. I can't confirm or deny. I wasn't there for any of it. I wasn't invited to these things that Glory's alluding to. So I wouldn't know what happened. Glory didn't put that on our calendar.
No, that was my separate calendar.
Yeah, Glory did that one on her own. But the everything that we've heard thus far off the upcoming Pinkshift record has been a step in a different direction that I very much appreciated. It's going heavier. That's kind of what I've wanted this band to always do. It's what I want all the bands I like to do. But this band in particular, I thought would make so much sense in this genre, and they're just doing it with this record. These 2 new singles are just continuing to obviously grow on what we've already heard from the previous singles off this upcoming record. They're heavy. They're going heavy, and I'm very excited to hear this full record, for people to hear the whole album and to, just see what it does for the band. AFI dropped their new single, Behind the Clock. This is the first single off their upcoming record, dropping this fall. It's definitely weird. AFI has, morphed a lot sonically, and this is what they sound like in 2025. It's weird, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I didn't hate it, and it wasn't super off-putting. It was just like, oh, okay, this is what the band that I heard on YouTube a handful of times when listening to bands like My Chemical Romance and things like that they sound like this now.
It's always been in the up next for My Chem. I never go to it. Sorry, I just always pick another My Chem song.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. They all kind of came up at the same time. It's like, oh, that band that's associated with, Thursday and the Used and My Chem and all of the mall emo bands sounds like this now.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Face Yourself dropped a new single, Fractures. I thought this was good.
God damn,
I liked
it's brutal as fuck.
Yeah.
We're going so quick. I had no idea. Arrows in Action dropped their new single, Corner of Your Mind.
This is my favorite Arrows in Action song so far. I just want to get that out of the way. I thought this was incredible. I thought this was incredible.
Oh shit. I thought that I'm losing it too. I thought that this song was really solid. They got this new record that comes out in about a month, and I'm just excited for everybody to hear it, because we did an interview about it a long time ago that kind of coincided with the release of the first half, but we chatted about the second half as well, because we were given both halves when we this was all said in the interview, so I'm going to say it now. We were given both halves when we did the interview, so we just kind of did it about the entire piece. So I'm excited for people to hear everything. It's out in about a month, and it just can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yep.
For our last track, Bad Omens dropped their new single, Spectre. I don't remember a single goddamn thing about this track. I'm gonna be so real. I do enjoy Bad Omens. I'm sure it was fine.
It's
my review.
It doesn't leave an impression. I was expecting a lot from New Bad Omens, because of just the absolutely meteoric rise that they had off of the last record. I had such high expectations, and this is just very weird, very Flatline-esque type song. It builds at the very end, but it's very like one-dimensional for a lot of the song, and then kind of morphs into having a bit of a heavy moment. I need to spend a lot more time with it. I'm curious where this will fit on the track listing for this most likely upcoming record that they're working towards. But yeah, just kind of confused. Not what I was expecting. I kind of expected them to come out of the gate just swinging as hard as they could.
Especially with the rollout. It was so daunting and shit, and then it happened, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and not to mention, they also had to put the song out at 8 p.m. on a Friday versus just dropping it on New Music Friday alongside everybody else. They had to be different and put it out at 8 p.m. I know they like that 5 p.m. PST for merch drops and things like that, but a song drop, come on, just put it out at 12 a.m. with everybody else. Like, you don't have to you don't have to reinvent the fucking wheel here. Like, if they put out the record at like 8 p.m. on a Friday, I just might not fucking listen to it, because I was at a fucking show when this song came out. I didn't listen to it until Sunday fucking morning, because I ain't got time for that shit. I don't have time for that. But that's all the topics we have today. You can follow us on Instagram, it's Good Noise Podcast. Facebook is Good Noise Pod. TikTok is Good Noise Podcast. All the YouTube is Good Noise Podcast. All the audio streaming services are all Good Noise Podcast. And Patreon is patreon.com/Good Noise Podcast. Go, got your Patreon supporters, Twitch subs, your important plugs, your merch store plug, your Amazon storefront plug. And then we're going to go the fuck to bed. We're not even going to sign off. We're just going to fall asleep right here.
Patreon supporters, thank you. Matt from Pulses, Pop Punk Apologist, Infamous Debub, Tyson from Heal to Hurt, and Eric. And thank you to our Twitch sub, Megan from Pulses.
Thank you, everybody. Much appreciated, as always.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Check out our merch. It is goodnoisepodcast.creator-spring.com. We got hoodies. We got hats.
No socks.
No socks. Fuck. I always want to say socks, but we just never have them. I'm not doing it.
I'll do it for you then.
Amazon. Check out our Amazon storefront. It has everything you need to start a podcast. If you want to speak with authority on shit that you really don't have much authority on, i.e. us and music, you more than me now, because you're in there now. I'm still cakes, let's talk about that, but it's like, fuck, man, I just like music more than the average person, I think. So that's just, those are my credentials. If you want to do that,
we shouldn't be doing this.
No, we shouldn't. We're 6 years in though, so we're committing.
It's just supposed to be a bit.
It was a fucking joke, dude. And now we're here. You said you want to do this seriously? Like, for real? And I was like, you know what, sure, here we fucking are interviewing Halestorm. It's like, okay.
Fucking dumb.
It's dumb. Important plugs: Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, Free Palestine, fuck ICE, be a decent person, support local bands, support people in general, be a good person and support good people. That's all I gotta say.
And that's all we got. I have been Shane.
I have been Glory.
And we've been doing this podcast. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.